Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. And this is part 3. Any American citizen that tries to conserve or preserve the American spirit must have a profound hatred for Americans. Think about that. At first glance, a lot of people know that I'm right. Any American citizen that tries to conserve or preserve the American spirit must have a profound hatred for Americans. Because the American spirit is self-destructive. Even the Pope, who clearly is a puppet for the New World Order, like all the popes have been, they've been a puppet for the governing class. That's the nature of these organized religions that we see here. Organized in the church sense, what have you. Even he said that it's an economy that kills. And the American spirit and the American economy go hand in hand. For example, you hear all these people go on and on about how they're proud to be Americans, and they have a flag on their pickup truck, and they say that they don't want a socialist system or a social democracy. They don't want a more fair redistribution. While some of them do think that there should be wealth taxes, but they're concerned about the racial dynamic and how it would change the social dynamic to redistribute money to, say, a small degree, because they want people desperate and kissing their ass. So the American spirit, okay, as in reality, not in propaganda, in reality, is a spirit of slave masters and oligarchs. It's like a behind-the-scenes feudal system where sadistic people who are sex-crazed, who often coerce women into being porn stars, Hollywood, Sin City, Murdermore, Baltimore, St. Louis, St. Luke, Los Angeles, Los Angeles, the Bay Area. Some people call it the gay area. Some people call it the yay area. All that's true to some degree, because there's the drugs. They were known for, Oakland, what have you, San Francisco, drug centers, big drug centers. There's a lot of gay people there. The American spirit is about people turning people out and taking advantage of them big time. It's about teaming up with other developed nations to sabotage underdeveloped nations, to get them to come here desperate, to abuse them, to terrorize them with deportations, okay? To have them see it coming from a mile away and have the people not rally for a sound plan. Instead, they get together and wear bright colors and propeller hats and funny, blow up, blow up items, right? Like, blow up a frog or something, right? And whatever those things are called, parades, right? These, it's very sick. The American spirit massacres the poor here and abroad. And when a country puts preserving and conserving a psychotic and evil process, and their pride, right? Lucifer is said to be a deity of pride. Above doing what's right, that's a Luciferian and evil spirit that they have. And as a result, it's an evil nation. A nation of darkness with Luciferian light. We see in Pike's book, they talk about the Luciferian doctrine and where are Masons more pronounced than America and the UK. We call the Scottish Rite and the York Rite, and that goes back to the English and the Scottish and where they overlap, etc. The Prince Hall Masons and their relationship with the military historically, and the Irish and the blacks who were Masons, the ones who were. If we look at this society and we see the groups that are operating here, the churches, etc., molesting children, the prisons and the corruption, the rock and roll and the rap, the economy that feeds into the systems of heavy metal, rock and roll, what have you, goth, emo, K-pop, and rap, and other destructive forms of music, including classical music, because the people who are listening to classical music these days are almost all evil. They're arrogant people. They see themselves as sophisticated and trendy and quote-unquote classy, but they don't have class. The lass and the lash. The psychological whipping of the romantic injustice that takes place here. So any American citizen that tries to conserve or preserve the American spirit must have a profound hatred for Americans, just like in Rome. Any Roman that sought to preserve the Roman spirit had a profound hatred for people in Rome. And same with Greece. There was rampant rape in Greece, and it was considered basically normal. They had festivals where people would be raped and all kinds of ritual and cults that rape people and so on and so forth. Zeus, a deity of rape, their main deity. Justice to them is relative to the ability of the locals, according to their pecking order, to rape people. So we can see definitive proof that America is very much like Rome and Greece. And we saw Miller the other day Stephen Miller bragging that they trace their roots to Rome, which traces its roots to Greece, where there was rampant rape and slavery. At one point, I read that 50% of Greeks were slaves, 20% of Romans. How could you be proud of that? How could you want to conserve something that is a neo-Greek or neo-Roman, these Greek societies in colleges and these Roman groups? So when you are too proud of your evil system and you refuse to do what a liberal democracy is supposed to do, which is examine itself carefully and make moral adjustments, then you are a very sadistic and sick person that has a profound hatred for the people in that system. There's no other way it could be. And the people who think I should shut up are very sick. You think the world doesn't understand that? You think the homeless don't understand that? Like Tupac said, as if they can't see the misery in which they live. Next quote here. These days, everyone knows that the popes and the founders of churches were all Luciferians, and that no one can trust people who run mosques or synagogues as well. So why do the nations of the world play stupid about this? That's a statement and a proverb and a question in itself. To not insist on the pure truth is to insist on beating up the souls of others. We see that in the Bible in Proverbs. It says that a flattering mouth works ruin, and lying lips hate those they hurt. Something to this effect. Paraphrase, almost exactly the quote here. A flattering mouth works ruin, and lying lips hate the ones they hurt, or hate those it hurts. There's different ways to translate it, mind you. And that's the message. So yes, obviously I'm right that if you don't insist on the pure truth, you're insisting on beating up the souls of others, right? To not insist on the pure truth is to insist on beating up the souls of others. To highlight that there is an economy that kills while not insisting on sound solutions is tantamount to saying that you have a satanic hammer in your hand while you assist others in beating people's souls. Are you part of the economy that kills? You're just pointing out your part. You should highlight that there's an economy that kills, but you should also point to the solution. And the last saying for this video: the female that looks for financial stability in a man is not a woman, she is a whore.